Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Thanks for joining us. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter and Instagram. And it's not Pat Unleashed. Is it Pat Unleashed on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's patgray.youtube.com/_
Nailed it.
edu.
Yes,
Yeah.
edu.
And then a
Can't forget
squiggly line
edu.
at the very end. So we're just everywhere. We're like Chicken Man. Wow. We are getting down to the nitty gritty now. 7 days.
We're there, man.
7 days. So I think they've already shattered every early voting record
Seems that way.
ever existed. It's like everybody's already voted. Never mind. Don't worry about Tuesday.
Honestly, that may be the shortest line is Tuesday.
It might be. Might be. Everybody's voting right now. Geez, there's a place near where we have the Kexi Kitchen. There's it's like a library or something, but it's one of the voting precincts. And people were lining up before it opened and still had an hour and a half wait.
What?
And they're parking on the
Jeez.
grass.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's hope that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think, people are feeling a sense of urgency on both sides, because Trump's an existential threat to the universe.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. To the universe?
Yeah,
So
to
it's
the
no longer
whole
democracy.
Universe. The universe will cease to exist.
What is he, Thanos?
If he's something. Yeah.
Okay.
He's got like what was that, a stone of some sort?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
What's it called?
Infinity Stones?
Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what he has. And he's going to use it if he's elected.
Well,
So,
he needs the whole collection, though.
yeah. Do you
can't
need
just
all
have the
7?
one.
Collect
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
7.
All 7, yeah.
Sure.
Do you need a cereal box top to go along with it? Or
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, the Nazi rally he held over the weekend, that was crazy. Lots and lots of Nazis, like 100,000 Nazis.
Almost.
There
Yeah.
were 20-some thousand inside
Yep.
MSG, and then there was another 75,000 outside. It looked impressive.
Yeah, these Nazis walk among us. Who knew, right?
Yeah, I didn't know. I did not know that. But it's incredible to watch this unfold.
They think they've got something, too.
Yeah, they do.
That's what is so funny to watch this. But
Yes,
you know
they
how
do.
we had the still shots? We had the front page of CNN.com yesterday. We had the still shot from the MSNBC coverage. And then Chris sent in this video here.
It's worse than we thought, Pat
It
Gray.
is.
Is it
It's
really?
worse than we thought.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How could it possibly be worse?
Then play it. Just
All
ask
right.
for it.
But that jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place,
In that
is
place.
particularly chilling.
Okay.
It
Because
is.
in 1939, more than
there
20,000
it is.
supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler,
Oh, wow.
packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally.
Just 85
a rally
years
where
ago.
speakers voiced
What a
anti-Semitic
coincidence.
rhetoric from a stage draped with Nazi banners.
Okay.
When a Jewish protester rushed the stage,
Yeah.
the Associated Press reported, quote, instantly, a dozen or more stormtroopers set upon him, knocking him down and beating him as he held his head in his arms. Most of his clothing was torn from his body.
Just like today.
Later, he was booked for disorderly conduct.
Totally happened at the MAGA
Now,
rally.
against
now.
that backdrop of history,
Against
Donald
that
Trump,
backdrop.
the man who
What
has
the
threatened to use the military against
Why
opponents,
is
he
pause it?
calls
Why
enemy-
is this a backdrop rather than a Billy Joel concert?
Yeah.
This is the same arena where Billy Joel has been in concert over 100 times.
Right.
It's the same arena where Muhammad Ali defended his heavyweight championship title. It is the same arena where the New York Knicks won the NBA title in 1972 or something.
Sure. What does it say about the Knicks and the Rangers that show up to work there
Right,
every
all the
day?
time.
I mean, it's
against that backdrop
Right.
of the 85 years ago Nazi
they
rally.
should make a statement. or
How do you
something.
continue to go into that building,
Right.
with a group of people? How?
I mean, the NCAA tournaments have had games there. You
right.
know, that was just-
Nazis,
that's a
which is what
backdrop.
the NCAA stands for, the Nazi Collegiate Athletic Association.
I mean, look, after some of the ref calls in college football lately,
right?
I'm kind of on board with that.
Yeah,
take.
I think a lot of us are we're there now. We're just there.
I mean, this is absurd. I mean, this is the point that I made on Twitter yesterday was 61 years ago, President Kennedy was shot and killed at Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. How many people pass through there every day?
Against that backdrop.
How many people show up there to act for that reason to see where it happened? What does that say about them?
It says they want to kill a president.
This is the most absurd analogy ever.
I don't understand how they're getting away with it. I really don't. It is... Do the flip side of this. If it was a Kamala Harris rally and we tried to make some communist thing out of it.
Well, a lot of people are pointing out on social media that the 1992 Democrat convention featuring Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, who has a problem with rallies at Madison Square Garden, that's where the Democrat convention took place. Madison Square Garden, 1992.
Oh, wow.
Against that backdrop, I mean, you got to wonder.
You do,
what
don't you?
was up there?
Yeah.
Sure do.
It was just 85. And back then, it wasn't even 85 years.
Yeah. See?
It's probably like almost 50 years.
Don't try to do that.
Yeah, I couldn't.
It's too early for that.
I just realized as I started to try to work it in my head.
Of course, now
I can see it.
Now our brains are like, oh, we got to totally figure this out now. All right, what year was the Nazi rally? Do we know?
1939.
You're going to watch Keith Math unfold before your very eyes.
Wow.
53 years.
Okay. Excellent. 53 years.
Woo. So, I mean, that was like just the day before,
That
right?
is something else.
So clearly they're more implicated than any Trump rally.
It might as well have been the day before. That's how recent it was. And the unmitigated gall of Trump to go ahead and agree to doing another rally there against that backdrop. Wow. It's incredible. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Well, and like
in
we
a
said,
political campaign.
They think they've got something.
I guess they do.
Because we have clip after clip of them talking about it.
It's interesting because people are already telling them, look, this is not resonating with the American people. Why? You need to stop this. People don't like it. I mean, even if they don't like Trump, most people are not liking you calling him Hitler because they know that's asinine. Byron Donalds was asked about the MSG, the Madison Square Garden rally, against that backdrop.
Yeah.
What do you think Trump's strategy was in coming to the belly of the beast, New York City? Why did he do that?
Because he can go anywhere. I think campaigns in 2024 and going forward are not just about where you campaign, but how you campaign. And to come into Madison Square Garden, his city, a city he helped build, and to say that he's not going to leave New York behind. He said last night in his speech, one of the great lines, he's willing to work with Mayor Adams and with Governor Hochul to make New York City and New York State great again. That's his focus. He's campaigning to all Americans in every state, not just in the battlegrounds, although the battlegrounds obviously are important. But that kind of leadership is what America needs right now if we're going to make America great again.
Yeah. It's important.
So I heard that too yesterday when I saw that clip.
I don't understand it.
First thing I did is I went to Wikipedia. All right, where was Byron Donalds, the representative from Florida? Where was he born?
Okay.
The Bronx.
See?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Important.
It's a northeastern thing, I guess. I don't know. Where are you from, Chris? You're from Puerto Rico.
The garbage island,
right?
remember?
Garbage Island.
Yeah, the island of garbage.
Island. Oh, Brooklyn. I'm sorry, Brooklyn. How dare I confuse
How dare
with
you?
the Bronx?
How dare you? What an
spat on his
egregious
face.
mistake. Yeah.
Against that backdrop, clearly I'm a hater.
You are a hater.
Clearly.
Yes.
Yeah, so if Donald Trump had done the rally at Yankee Stadium, they would have found something, some event, something to happen there. It's New York City. That was the point. He just wanted to go to New York City, and man, did he make a splash. And they can't stand it, so they've got to spin it any way they can, the most ridiculous way.
And I guess everybody who attended was also a Nazi because that's who attends Nazi rallies, right?
Oh, okay. So, hold on. We
100,000 New Yorkers.
Do you remember the Dinesh D'Souza film, 2,000 Mules, and all the cell phone tracking data? Did you see this movie, Chris? 2,000 Mules?
No, sorry.
Okay. So remember, Pat, they track the cell phones and they can see who went by the drop boxes and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Who is coming up with this cell phone data so quickly that I should have printed this up? They were showing how many cell phones were in the immediate vicinity of Madison Square Garden. I think it was 97,000.
Wow.
Half of them had never attended a Trump rally. I mean, he is reaching new people, and they can't stand it. I don't know how you access this cell phone data, but man, that's cool stuff.
It can't be that easy, but obviously it is.
And it's quick, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But look, since everybody's talking about this, nobody's talking about the crowd size, really. Nobody's, except us, we've mentioned it. But the focus is all on the 85 years ago Nazi rally.
Yep.
I mean, they're really good at this. They're really good at deflecting and casting aspersions at people. Meanwhile, accusing you of being the one who casts aspersions at people. It's just so insane.
I'll say this, on social media, it's not that much.
That's what I was, when you were saying that, I was like,
on social media and like outside the mainstream, no one is really.
Democrats are looking like the idiots that they are.
Yes,
Good.
And I only see it on the mainstream. I don't see it on social media.
Let's watch these clips of them trying to force feed this.
AOC, here's her take on the rally.
Well, there's a couple of things. As you mentioned, this was a hate rally.
No,
This was not just a presidential rally. This was also not just a campaign rally. I think it's very important for people to understand that these are mini January 6th rallies. These are mini Stop the Steal rallies. These are rallies to prime an electorate into rejecting the results of an election if it doesn't go the way that they want. Because Donald Trump and that entire cadre of people up on that stage, Stephen Miller, et cetera, do not respect the law of the United States of America. And they either want to win this election or they are using rhetoric of taking it by force. That is what that is what they mean, and that's what they're doing when they are inciting violence and hatred against Latinos, against Black Americans, against Americans who don't have children.
When did they incite violence against Latinos
you have JD Vance literally
or anybody
talking about
else?
Watering down people's right to vote, depending on if they can viably carry a child or not. We have to understand how unhinged this campaign has gotten, and the only reason that the rhetoric has gotten this far is precisely because they are trying to prime the kind of froth that led up to
this. I can't. She is so despicable. This is why, though, it's unfortunate they had that comedian, that roast comedian, as part of this. What's his name? Tony Hinchfield or something? I don't know. But he was on the Tom Brady roast.
Yes, he was. Yes.
And this is what he does. This is his deal. And everybody who knows who he is understands that he does this edgy, insulting humor. He insults everybody, not just minorities. He insults everybody because that's his profession, really. So should he have been invited to this thing? No, I don't think so. They should have avoided this guy because we wouldn't have to be dealing with this afterward.
According to social medias, the reason why he was invited was to reach the younger generation because of Barron Trump. Barron Trump is helping that out, and that was one of his ideas to bring him in.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. Maybe they say, Barron, maybe you don't make these decisions anymore. How about that? You're 18. You go to NYU and don't worry about it. We'll take care of the campaign. How about that? Because you could have gotten anybody, right? Any other comedian who is a Trump supporter could have gone in there, and you're not going to get this guy to do something that's acceptable to everybody. He's going to be insulting, and he was. I mean, but that's what he does. So if you like that, then you invite him. But it just doesn't seem like it was a good idea to include that in this rally. Here was Biden being asked, though, about the rally. Still president, apparently. I'm excited to talk about this.
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
It's simply embarrassing.
You're embarrassing.
We need any president, but that's. what we're getting used to. That's why this election is so important. You know, most of the presidential scholars I've spoken to talk about the single most consequential thing about a president's character. Character.
Oh.
And
your character? Then should we?
Every time you open
my gosh.
Character.
Oh.
Okay.
I keep forgetting I'm president.
So, hold on. I'm kind of with Jeffy now. Are we to believe that old doddering fool? Play the first 5 seconds of that clip again, Joe. That guy is the one who was kind of jogging all the way over to the press. He could barely step up on that curb.
Yeah, he had a hard time.
Come on now.
Yeah. I'm surprised the Secret Service didn't carry him over there. Pretty soon, that's what we're going to see. By late November, he'll be carried by his Secret Service detail.
That guy's talking to us about character.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a complete douchebag, lying sack of crap. His entire political career, and obviously before that, but ever since he's been in the public eye, he's been lying to us. So, of course, they had to ask Kamala Harris, because this is a tough question. What did you think about that Trump event? What are your thoughts? I bet you liked
that
it,
made
right?
comparisons between a rally that happened at Madison Square Garden in 1939 with neo-Nazis or Nazis back then. Do you see those comparisons? And can you also expand on what he said?
Pause it for a second. What are the odds? She said, no, I didn't see that at all. I don't know why you even bring up the 85 years ago Nazi rally.
I hadn't heard that.
Hadn't heard any comparisons there. Why would you make that tie? There's been a lot of things that have happened at Madison Square Garden. Why that particular event? All right, let her go.
And can you also expand on what he said and what you said yesterday about Puerto Rico?
Donald Trump this is not new about him, by the way. What he did last night is not a discovery.
He didn't do it. Puddin'. I guess he's responsible and accountable for every syllable that came out of everybody's mouth at that rally. She was asked about Trump talking about her IQ as well.
Donald Trump was on Joe Rogan, and he called you, Madam Vice President, a very low IQ person.
Oh, no.
And said, I think she needs to take a cognitive test. I think Kamala should have a test because there's something missing. There's something wrong with her.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And so she agreed.
Well,
she nodded her head. Yeah.
Is a blank
There's something
stare.
wrong with me.
That was her answer. So I guess she made his point.
She proved the point.
She made his point.
Oh, man. Then we have a woman discussing Kamala's IQ.
The Chinese first generation, we love Trump from our bottom of the heart because we know Trump is the only one can save America.
All right.
Kamala is so stupid. She is so low.
Isolate
IQ
that.
equal, no Q, no qualification to be the president. You shall stay away from that position. You already lost the position. You lost our trust. You lost our vote. You just need to go home. To stay home. You cannot do anything to save America. You are so stupid. You don't know anything. You cannot even answer any question from the camera, from all the media. How you can be on the stage to fight for America, to protect American people, to protect all the world. You are not qualified. You just need to go home. Let Trump to save America, to save the world, to put America first. If America to be strong, to be saved, and then America can save the whole world. Trump, we love you. We love you forever. Never ever surrender. Fight, fight, fight. Fight for Trump. Fight, fight, fight.
I love this woman. I love that woman. She's fantastic. Kamala, you are so stupid. That sums it up right there. Sums it up.
That clip is
priceless.
A minute 24. I believe about a minute 14 of it needs to be isolated in separate little parts because it was so good.
The Kamala, you are so stupid has to be the main thing. We've got to play that from now until hopefully just Tuesday. A week from today. And then we won't have to talk about her anymore.
Gosh.
I hope. Although, has she been asked yet if she's going to certify the election? Should she lose?
She hasn't been asked that.
January 6th. Will you certify the election?
The only thing that we talked about, that she talked about, she has lawyers ready. That's all she has.
Wow.
So she already is trying to...
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting?
Disqualify the people's choice.
Jeez.
No, if that's the reality in presidential politics, 2024 America. You better have lawyers at the ready everywhere.
Yeah.
But do you want to see some of these poll numbers here? You were just talking about, let's get her out of here. I got some good news numbers here. I mean, take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But Arab Americans, right? Okay. In 2020, Biden won that demographic 61-36, so plus 25 over Trump. Right now, Arab American vote in the United States, Trump leads 49-47, plus 2.
Wow.
So a 27-point swing.
That's
there.
a big turnaround.
Yeah. In the Pennsylvania voter registration update, last week, the GOP added over 36,000 registered voters, Democrats plus 19,000. 36-19. So there you go. That was the best single week of 2024.
Not bad.
GOP. Yeah.
That's good. Meanwhile, Kamala is pandering wherever she goes. She broke out a new accent at a church on Sunday. Listen to this. Amazing.
Weeping may endure for a night.
What?
But joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning, and church morning is on its way.
Hillary did the same deal.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
We don't feel no ways tired.
So natural, too, and not pandering at all.
No.
Oh, my gosh, these people are so fake. I can't stand them.
Wow. She did another thing, too, where she just did this, I don't know. I guess she was attempting to sound more black or something. I guess we don't have that, but should look for that, too, because that was incredible. She was also heckled. I think this is the same church stop, right? Where somebody starts yelling something. Here's what happened there.
As a nation, we face real challenges. We carry real...
Start the organ. Hello. Carry.
Huh, okay. So that's the extent of it? She goes on to say, every voice, because people are booing this person, and she's saying every voice is important over and over and over. Every voice is important. That didn't apply last week when somebody shouted, Jesus is Lord at her event. Last week it was, you're at the wrong rally. You need to go to the other one. Down the street, the smaller one down the street, referring to the Trump rally. So that wasn't an important voice, apparently, but this person was for some reason. Why? Is it because she was at a black church and the other person was white? I don't know, but there was some kind of difference there that caused a completely different reaction.
Kind of weird when you see video of a demon inside a church and they're not spontaneously combusting like that. I would have expected.
Would have been cool to see her burst into flame. Wouldn't it? That would have been something.
Would have been.
I mean, you'd want somebody to put her out really quickly.
Right.
But
it would have definitely been newsworthy.
Yes, it would have.
Would have played it for sure.
Here she is on her internal polling.
Can you give us a sense of your internal polling at the campaign and how that is making or influencing your decisions on what to do over the next 9 days?
So, to be very frank with you, my internal polling is my instinct. I let the campaign people deal with all that other stuff.
Okay.
Boy, sounds like a confident candidate there. In other words, yes, it clearly sucks, my internal polling.
Otherwise, she would have bragged about it, right? If she was up by a lot in her internal polling.
But what I read into that is she's alluding to her campaign is stressing the hell out about her numbers, and I let them deal with that.
Sure.
And then I just go and do whatever I want.
And keep calling him Hitler. That's my strategy. I'm going to keep calling him Hitler, and we're going to keep talking about that Nazi rally in 1939. What a weird
This
campaign
is rudderless, man.
Oh man, incredible. Then Joe, is he campaigning for her still? Well, I mean, as much as they don't want him to, is he still saying things about her?
I don't know where he was going yesterday, but they grabbed him and asked him some questions.
All right, here's Joe Biden. Can't wait.
Trump is talking with Bibi, but Trump works for Trump work.
Okay, you getting all this?
Trump works talks to Bibi.
No, we need to diagram this. This is so bad.
Multi-billionaire friend talks to him a lot too.
Nobody knows, Pat. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. You hear BB in there. You hear Trump. You hear
Trump working.
I don't know.
Talking.
Let's give it a shot, y'all. Let's play it again.
Trump is talking with Bibi, but Trump works for Trump work. Trump works talks to Bibi, and
what?
His good.
Pause it. Trump worked across from Bibi.
Okay, I'm not writing down anything because it's impossible.
Okay.
I'm paralyzed. I don't even know what to write. Trump
worked, and then he said it like he shouldn't have said Trump. Then he went
Trump.
to Bibi,
Yes.
and then that wasn't right.
Nobody knows.
And then Trump was across from Bibi? All right, do it again. From the top. Incredible.
Trump is talking with Bibi. The reason Trump works for Trump work.
Your mom.
Trump talks to Bibi, and
Trump worked across from
multi-billionaire friend talks to him a lot too.
What? What was that last part?
Trump built a fence around it? I don't know.
What?
Bro,
he really melted down there.
This is
Holy
what
cow.
Kamala Harris covered up from
Yes.
the American people
Yes.
for 4 years.
That is correct.
But you can trust her with the nuclear code
sure.
and world peace and
Yeah.
negotiating with world leaders.
She's been honest about everything else, except for everything else.
Oh, but I need to tell you, there's an important thing that maybe you didn't hear about. Remember the Nazi rally back in 1939 at Madison Square Garden?
I remember that.
Trump
85 years ago?
totally tried to replicate that Nazi rally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just so you know.
So he's a Nazi?
He's Adolf Hitler.
And did a whole bunch of Nazis show up at that rally?
Basically.
Wow, that's
Don't ask
bad.
any more questions. Just
in the year
believe my narrative.
2024,
I know, it sucks.
that's not good.
And then they hung the Nazi banners, and then he did the Sig Heil.
Wow.
I don't think there's footage of that. They were in commercial when that happened.
Oh, okay.
But just trust me, it happened.
Well, I do trust you. Of course, I trust everything you say because you never lie.
That's seriously the Kamala Harris campaign.
Just for fun. Play the Biden thing one more time. Let's see if we can.
You're president right here.
Great. The guy still is
Trump
president.
is talking with Bibi, but Trump works for Trump work. Bibi. Trump talks to Bibi, and his good multi-billionaire friend talks to him a lot too.
His good multi-billionaire friend talks to him a lot too.
Okay, go to sleep.
What was the question?
Like, seriously, go take a nap, and we'll wake you up on January 20th.
So somehow Elon Musk got into that discussion for what are you trying to say?
I'm gonna put it through the closed caption computer. I want to see what the computer says.
AI great.
I want to see what AI
Yeah, that would be
thinks.
great.
Yes, I'm gonna do that.
Holy crap! That is a
wow.
That's a brain that's got mad cow disease at this point.
Oh yeah,
it's just rotting.
Yeah. And that's the reason that we don't see much of him anymore because they're really trying to keep him hidden. He's still the president of the United States.
Is he?
The greatest nation ever in the history of this planet. And he's at the head of it. So rest easy, America. We're in good hands.
Yeah.
And you got a total buffoon as the person representing this administration running for the next 4 years. Wow.
Kamala is so stupid.
All right, more coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Got some tweets. Jeffy's illegal wife tweets, the owners of Madison Square Garden are Jewish, so MSNBC is absolutely ridiculous. Hee-haw the Viking. I think I'm doing this right. Trump plays golf. I taught my son to play golf. He made the team. I raised a Nazi. What have I done? What have I done?
Too late. You should have thought of that, bro.
Yeah, should have. I mean, did you not know there was a Nazi rally in 1939 at MSG?
It's probably on the golf course,
and then
too.
Trump did one just this last weekend. Yeah. Wow. Patriot Beagles 2. You know what happens if you yell Jesus is Lord at a Kamala rally? The stormtroopers swoop in and remove you. Mm-hmm. Adrian Slade was the stormtrooper who tackled that Jewish guy calling for a ceasefire in Gaza to help the Palestinians. It's possible. Yeah, I don't know. But you know, of course you did know. You knew that Shannon Sharpe has a podcast, right? Because, yes, he did play football, but every living human being, every living organism on this planet has a podcast.
Like, what's your favorite podcast of all the many podcasts?
There's an amoeba in Pocatello, Idaho.
Wow.
I really enjoy
so
a lot.
you do listen to him.
Yeah.
I listen to him too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
good follow, good listen. He's
Very
really good.
listen.
Okay.
Really good.
Chris is trying to sound like hip and in the know. What's the show's name of the amoeba in Pocatello, Chris?
Amoeba in Pocatello. Like he made it that easy because he knows.
Okay. Yeah.
Easy names are easy to remember.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Sorry, it's the amoeba from Pocatello.
I wasn't going to be particular.
I got to be careful when I speak here, so.
Be more careful then.
Kamala actually showed up on this particular Living Organisms podcast.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharpe's. Cool. And they talked about black support for Donald Trump. Brilliant.
Blacks for Trump. They feel that Trump is better for the black community. Can you explain Donald Trump's history with blacks? Where did this come that all of a sudden, I mean, it's been like this because a lot of people used to say, I'm Donald Trump of the ghetto because he was, I mean, for a lot of blacks, not all, but for some blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some blacks.
But here's the thing. The question for everybody, should he be president of the United States?
Okay. Yes,
right?
he should be. Right?
That's the question.
That is.
Should he have the ability to sit behind the seal?
Yeah, you know he's done this before.
States when he says he wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States.
Posit.
You know what that would mean?
This lie about terminating the Constitution, about being a dictator on day one, they just keep repeating these same lies over and over again. And nobody calls them out on it. All of this stuff has been fact-checked on Snopes, the Washington Post, PolitiFact. They've all called this BS out. They've all suggested stop lying about this. He didn't do that. He didn't say it. The Nazis are very fine people thing. They just keep repeating it. It's not true. All right, let her go.
Of the United States. You know what that would mean? In the Constitution of the United States is your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure. Your Fifth Amendment right. Your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney.
Well, a lot of rights going to be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. Yes. Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away.
Wow. Okay. All of a sudden, the Constitution is so meaningful to her. When did that start? Because Democrats never even mention the U.S. Constitution unless they're lying about it, like in this case. But she shared another word salad with us, so I'm kind of excited about that.
And we stand then in that path, knowing that we also have the honor and the duty of excelling in every way possible. Being able to see what is possible and not be burdened by other people's limited ability to see the same.
Oh, a little twist on.
Yeah, it's a remix.
Well, I'm glad you liked what you heard because you heard it a lot during that podcast.
Man, so she also lied about Trump and overtime pay. Good.
But what he would do that is about eliminating or reducing the ability of corporations to be required to pay overtime pay.
So you could work and the corporations wouldn't have to pay you for
overtime.
Who work for free?
That's right. And overtime means you are actually working a longer day, which means you are more tired.
Right.
Which means it requires more exertion. Right. That's why we have overtime.
Shannon, use your noodle.
So you don't take advantage of workers.
When did Trump say that? When did Donald Trump say that, Kamala? Madam Vice President, when did Donald Trump make that pledge to corporations that they wouldn't have to pay overtime during his administration? Where did that come from?
All I've heard is that he doesn't want people to pay taxes on
taxes. That's the only thing I can think of. No taxes on overtime.
It's so stupid.
Jeez. It's insulting. It's insulting to our intelligence. Then she gave the same answers for different questions within 3 minutes of each other. Check this out.
Being able to see what is possible and not be burdened by other people's limited ability to see the same. You cannot ever be burdened by other people's limited ability to understand who you are. Like, don't let their limited ability burden you about your own ability.
If this person wasn't so close to the presidency of the United States, that would be hysterical.
Right.
Instead, it's just terrifying.
It is. The thought of her getting anywhere near the Oval Office, the White House, as a residence is just, it is terrifying. Worse than any horror movie you have ever seen in your life.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, what is happening to drop boxes in Oregon? How are they catching on fire? That's kind of weird. Yeah. Drop boxes ablaze in Oregon?
Yeah.
Check this out.
Uh-oh.
Did this happen by accident? No.
Hundreds
don't know
of
how it would
ballots literally up in smoke.
Do they believe that somebody did that? I mean, they must have, right? They threw something in there?
Yeah. And Antifa has talked about doing this in the past.
Yes, they have.
So point your fingers there. But what's so weird is that I would expect this in a red area.
Yeah.
You know? Like
not Oregon.
Kind of strange.
That is interesting.
But it's weird the statement that the area said, if you dropped your box before this date, please come to the voting office to get a new ballot. But how do you know that?
And why are we doing drop boxes still? Why? Why is that happening?
You know, if you were required to show up in person, preferably just on election day, I bet you wouldn't have the problem of
people blazing,
drop boxes being on fire, because they wouldn't exist in Keith's world.
What a concept.
But
so you're saying you'd have to wait until election day and then go in person and vote? Why are you trying to suppress the vote? Why?
I am more than happy to.
Why don't you want minorities to vote?
Wait, what?
Thank you.
Wow.
I don't know.
He doesn't want you to vote.
Next you're going to ask me, so I have to show in a stupid ID to vote.
Yeah.
So thank you.
There's a difference here.
Thank you.
Okay? I didn't say I didn't want minorities to vote. Then you went and you switched it like a Democrat, and you looked at Chris Cruz and you said he doesn't want you to vote. Now, that statement you just said was accurate.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that one was. No, it's like I would stand in line from sunup to sundown on election day if that were required. If everybody had to vote on election day, fine, let's go.
Well, you make the sacrifice, right?
Yes.
If
for democracy, you make the sacrifice.
You shrink that timeline. In some places, they've been voting since mid-September.
Yep.
So they've had almost 2 months in some places.
And a lot has happened in that amount of time.
Well, but also to figure out how many votes they need to manufacture to steal this thing.
There's that, too.
So if we just shrink it down to 1 day, I guess there's no way to tell where the fraud needs to be implemented.
And back when we only voted on the 1 day, somehow we made that work. And somehow Americans had a lot more confidence in the election process than we do today.
Yep.
I mean, the election integrity is completely up in the air to most Americans now.
Well, yes.
We don't trust it. Yeah. We did when I was younger. We trusted the system. I was always pissed at Jimmy Carter, who was who wanted to bring people in from the UN and oversee our elections.
Oversee the elections, yes.
No, we oversee other people's elections. Nobody oversees ours. There's no need for that. Well,
yeah.
Anybody buy that now?
Yeah. I like
We've come a long way, baby.
Mike Lee tweeted out, Democrats 2 months ago, non-citizens don't vote or even register to vote. Democrats now. We're suing states that try to remove non-citizens from voter rolls. I mean,
incredible.
100%. And yep. I'm sure that, Chris, you saw the lady in Iowa who is the poll worker talking about she has proof that, and she went through, it was a 10-minute video explaining how illegals are voting in Iowa, and they don't have to prove anything until November 12th. They have till November 12th and they show up with a utility bill in Iowa, and I guess you are a citizen because no illegal alien could get electricity. I mean, it's just like you just said.
It doesn't have to be a state ID.
Yeah, no.
You can literally bring a utility bill.
Yes.
Oh my.
Well,
gosh.
it's an ID that I think anyone can get, and then the clincher though, to be a part of the sacred voting in America is your utility bill.
With 2 forms of ID, basically.
Yeah.
What if I have a Blockbuster video card?
Oh, sure. Definitely.
That'll work, right?
Yes.
That'll work.
Are you in a blue district?
Yes.
Yeah, then you're absolutely going to use that.
Then I can use the Blockbuster video card. Okay,
you
good.
can take a Costco card.
Probably. Yeah, your picture's on that, right?
Picture's on it.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is from Fox News. Voter registration fraud.
It's harder to get into Costco than a U.S. election voting booth. If you don't have your picture on the back of that Costco card, especially now because you have to present it right at the front of the store. Door. I don't know if it's this way universally yet, but they've got 2 scanners on either side of the entrance. And so you just walk up and
present it.
They scan immediately. They scan your card. And if your picture, and then your picture should show up on the screen for them. And if it's not your picture, you don't get in. We have to do that at Costco to shop and get large quantities of products and toilet paper. But at a U.S. voting site, you don't have to do that. You don't have to show an ID.
But I think an argument could be made. I mean, at the end of the day, are you more concerned about wiping your backside or who's sitting in the Oval Office?
Thank you. Well, right. Wiping my backside.
So I think,
and I think all Americans can agree on that.
Okay, so
I don't see what you're trying
kudos
to connect
to Costco on that one.
Yes, well done, Costco.
Right.
But I was just starting to read this headline here from Fox News. Voter registration fraud probe involving 2,500 applications confirmed by Pennsylvania election officials. We have, let's see, this is Virginia. You know, we just talked about being sued by the Department of Justice, the Biden-Harris. What was this one? Oh my gosh, that's right, this one. This is enraging. Biden and Harris quietly gave the Mexican government $20 billion to hide the migrants during the election season. Let's see, what was this? This thing goes into a whole thing in Michigan and who all's registered to vote there. And you have questions everywhere. It goes to your point that you just made, Pat. Mm-hmm. We don't have faith in our election system. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. If there's nobody out there that has to, at this point, think that, no, everything's great. It's totally fine.
Everything's fine.
You conspiracy theorist, shut up.
Yeah. And I think that's Democrats and Republicans alike.
I think so, too.
You know, they might not admit it if MSNBC is interviewing them, but they've got questions. They've got concerns. So I don't know that anybody's like 100% faithful about our... Do you have faith in our election system? Is that anybody going to just straight out answer that? Yes. Without any reservations? I don't know. Hard to believe that you could be that naive right now.
No.
Just seen too much.
See, I've seen too much.
Seen too much. Former head of ICE under Trump, Tom Homan, talked about mass deportation.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
Okay.
So
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Ah, nice! Thank you! Oh my gosh, I've been saying that for 30 years. You don't have to separate the family. We'll send all of you back.
Yes.
All y'all can go back home. It's up to you if you separate or not.
Uh-huh. And then
That's great.
I think she followed up with something like, well, what do you say to the kid that was born here and is now a U.S. citizen?
You say goodbye.
Well, he said,
bye-bye.
well, look, I can't help that your parents, screwed up and, had you here.
That's so
Come back when
good.
you're 18.
I have
Thank you for the giblets there to make those, just that matter-of-fact statement. Of course there is.
Chris,
whole family can go back.
Surely somebody has put the sunglasses and the smoke in his mouth.
I'll look for it.
Yeah,
I'll
look for that because we got to get that version because it's got to be out there. That guy, I didn't know him before that clip. Now he's like my favorite.
Yes,
that's great. Yeah, that's
Washington D.C. guy.
That's common sense.
Common sense.
It's common,
and that's what's so sad.
Yep.
It's that common sense is now this oasis in the desert.
Yeah.
Like, wow, can you believe that guy said that? Common sense.
And because it might happen a time or two, we're supposed to eliminate all deportation? What are you, insane? No, if there's a family that's involved here, we'll work that out. They can all go back.
Yes.
Or, you guys decide. You want to all go back or do you want to separate yourselves? That's up to you. I would offer them that option. You can either all go back or you can separate as a family because he's going back.
Yeah, you let them make the decision.
Right. You decide.
We're not forcing you.
You decide. I'm not forcing it.
Because this is...
But the illegal has to go.
We're told you're not being forced to take the vaccine. Right. I guess not. I guess I could lose my job or take the vaccine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we're
Same
not
logic.
forcing you to separate. We're giving you the...
As an American citizen... If I do something illegal,
right,
and I am convicted of a crime, I will go to jail and be separated from my family.
Wait, what?
That happens to American citizens all the time. It's the decisions you make. There are consequences to them. But there's not supposed to be, I guess, for illegal aliens. There should be no consequences ever. Oh, man. Thank you, Tom Homan, for... little bit of common sense in this discussion.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Got some tweets. Kara3022 tweets, Kamala, you are so stupid. I see a future bingo square. Oh, yes. Oh, that's for sure.
I hope Just Too Muck and Fudge is listening.
And apparently, because here's a tweet from Just Too Muck and Fudge.
All right.
We are 1 week away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Red man in a blue state. We went from a basket full of deplorables in 2016 to Nazis in 2024. That escalated quickly. Didn't it, though?
Yes, it did.
It is incredible.
We are now, 179 hours and 59 minutes from polls closing, I think. 178. I don't know. But we're almost there, y'all. Just hang in.
Don't trust the Keith math. Do it on your own.
Check that out.
7 days. 7 days.
Okay. Let's go to Shannon in South Carolina. Hey, Shannon, you're on the Blaze. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Pat. Great to listen to you guys, as always.
Thank you.
I was just sharing that I've taught history and retired. I really think we need to set a new bar, a rule that you cannot suggest, offer, or label anyone Hitler unless they've met the minimum requirement of 1 million deaths. They have to have killed at least 1 million people to even be considered.
Okay.
It's only fair.
Yeah, I like that.
You don't have to go to full 6.6 million, but we need at least 1 million. I mean, am I wrong? Is that not fair?
Yeah.
There should be a standard.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I taught history, and I honestly believe that Kamala would not even pass a remediated class.
Gosh. That's for sure.
My son, who is a junior in high school, has far more intellectual capability than she or Joe Biden combined. You put them, people say you have half a mind. Well, if you put both of their half minds together, they still don't have a full mind.
Exactly.
Please, folks, I hope everybody's getting out and voting. I've already voted early. I voted for the felon and the hillbilly. So we got to get everybody out. But anyway, guys, keep doing what you're doing. I had the luxury of meeting Mr. Glenn Beck a few months back. He came to South Carolina. I was running for office at the time, and he's just such a great character. I told him, I said, Glenn, I watched you since you were on CNN, and he looked at me and, with his deadpan, he said, oh, you were the one. He's just a good guy. You guys are great. Is. And I guess I'm a Nazi now.
Yeah, I guess many of us are. All right, thanks, Shannon. Appreciate it. That's a pretty high bar, to clear before you're declared a Hitler. 1 million deaths. You got to be responsible for 1 million deaths at least. And it's not going to be the highest bar. I mean, you're not going to say 6 million because that's too many. But if you kill 1 million, then you can qualify.
You're in the ballpark then. You're in the discussion.
Yeah, right. Here's a massive surprise that happened yesterday. Leonardo DiCaprio endorsed Kamala Harris. Who saw that coming? The October surprises just continue to stun me after another staggering development. UPS announced their employees will wear brown during work hours. And Elon Musk just disclosed yesterday, right after the Leonardo DiCaprio announcement, that he is not a middle-class wage earner. He has suddenly claimed that he actually makes a lot of money. And the other thing that happened yesterday that shocked me out of my mind, scientists declared that the sun will rise in the east tomorrow. Who saw any of that coming?
Dang, bro.
But after Leonardo DiCaprio endorsed Kamala Harris, I think that opened the floodgates of one surprise after another.
So you thought as a talk show host it'd be a good idea to drop all of the
at the same time
on the same
just get it out
moment.
Yeah, let's just get it all out there.
Top of the hour.
Okay.
Might as well.
Nothing else to talk about now.
Right. Well, sorry. We'll have to.
We'll just play music and dance for 40 minutes.
Oh, actually,
like Trump
good idea.
Did.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Just like Trump. If it's good enough for Trump, it's good enough for us. 40 minutes of music.
Actually, there's one October surprise that is very surprising. You didn't mention this, that apparently Tim Walz may be heterosexual after all.
No.
Yeah.
Where are you getting that?
That's hope.
Where are you getting that?
October surprise.
Is this based on the Chinese woman who says that he kind of promised her to marry her and then didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm basing it off of.
Sounds a little bit bitter about it still. And this happened, 1989, I think. And apparently he led this poor woman to believe when he was in China that he was really into her and he was going to go to the United States but then come back and marry her.
Okay.
And that's not what happened.
It's not what happened.
It's not what happened.
Which would be shocking because it's not in his character to lie. Tim Walz.
Well, people know him. Keith, they know
him.
They know him. And they know that when he's intimating to somebody that they're going to be married, he's not really that. He's just a knucklehead sometimes.
He's a knucklehead.
He's a knucklehead. So this was apparently the daughter of a communist Chinese party official.
Surprise, surprise. Tim Walz is literally in bed with a Chinese official's daughter.
So, had a love affair with her during his teaching stint in Foshan that was so stormy it drove her to the brink of suicide, she says. Wow. Jenna Wang, she's 59 now. She told the Post in a phone interview that she had fallen head over heels for him. It shows what kind of taste she had, but I mean...
Yeah, you should...
A little late for that now.
Miss Wang should consider this a bullet dodged.
No kidding. This is the best thing that ever happened to her. I don't know if she understands that now. She said she had expected the passionate affair to end in a proposal, but instead it resulted in a breakup that made her consider taking her own life. Wang expected the passionate 1989 affair to end in a proposal. She says, I was deeply insulted, hurt, and I had to leave that place because many people knew that we had a relationship. And yet, it didn't work out.
Shoot.
Again, I think you're right, Keith. She dodged a bullet. She should be happy about this. But apparently, leading her on included sending her letters after returning to the U.S. Over the following summer, and even asked her for a passport-sized photo of her to be sent back to Denver, which is where he lived at the time, implying he was trying to help her get a visa. Obviously, because he wanted the picture to fit in the visa. His lack of character as a man, a responsible person who had worked in education or the military, I thought he also loved me. I loved him.
Oh,
wow.
Shoot.
So, yeah, brokenhearted.
Yeah, well.
And misled.
You win some, you lose some, Wang.
Mm-hmm. America's being misled by this guy right now.
Yeah. And apparently, I saw a report, I don't know how accurate this is, but apparently the Kamala camp is in full panic mode over this allegation. And so they're trying to figure out if Tim Walz should address this publicly or if they're just going to ignore it. They're just kind of waiting to see, apparently, if it gets any traction.
Really?
Yeah, so we'll see.
This isn't nearly as bad, I don't think, as the girlfriend he slapped because he was jealous that she talked to some guy. Remember that? He walked over to her.
Did that.
Yeah, that was Dougie.
Oh, that was Doug. That's right.
Yeah, Dougie did that.
Dang it! I get my sissy men mixed up sometimes.
It's very difficult to get them straight.
Yeah, it is.
It's very difficult.
It's impossible to get them straight.
Nearly impossible. Because somehow they have wives.
So
somehow,
one thing we didn't do yesterday is spend any time on the Tim Walz Twitch Madden thing on Sunday that he did with AOC. They played Madden, right?
Oh, I love this.
And what do we got? We got a couple clips here that Chris sent in.
Okay.
What do you get? 33. Let's watch 33. Apparently is by the way, put that picture back up. They make fun of JD Vance for drinking Mountain Dew or something, right?
Yes, they did.
What the hell's sitting right there?
Because he wrote it on his book, yeah.
There's Mountain Dew sitting right next to Tim Walz.
That's Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh, it's Diet
it's not the same.
Mountain Dew. Okay. So, all right. So apparently, the football coach, right? He knows so much about football.
Yeah, this is amazing.
John Madden football. Let's watch this lingo he uses on clip 33.
Right. Mm-hmm.
8 days to go. This election's already started. People are voting across the country.
That's not the one?
So you know what it means. This is where I've got to do it. Huddling up a little bit here.
No.
Time for a little bit of a peck talk.
Okay.
Look, we got to admit it. This game is tied. 2 minutes left on the clock.
Okay.
We got the ball. We're driving down the field. We're doing the blocking and everything we need to do. And I know you got a saying around here that came from Bo. The team, the team, the team. And boy, do we have the right team.
Do you? You keep thinking that. You keep thinking that, Timmy.
So all gas, no brakes for the next 8 days. Plenty of time to sleep when you're dead. Our time now. We're moving this thing over the next 8 days, an inch at a time, a yard at a time, one door at a time, one phone call at a time, one of those door knocks and one of those interactions, because 1 or 2 extra votes per precinct in the state of Michigan will make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
No.
Michigan, let's put that in terms you know. We'll tell them this. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Please welcome the next president of the United States.
I can't.
Okay, so Chris, this wasn't the lingo thing. The tweet is the lingo thing.
It's
okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
He said AOC. Now this is, I guess, in reference to their.
Yeah, they're playing, and he
They're
tweets
about
this
to
out.
play,
He
yes.
has since deleted this stupid ass tweet.
It's unbelievably bad. AOC can run a mean pick six. AOC can run a mean pick six. And I can call an audible on a play. And we both now, not know, that if you take the time to draw up a playbook, you're going to use it. What? Ignoring the use of the word now instead of no, which he wrote N-O-W instead of K-N-O-W.
Ah.
Oh, so he must have, he realized the typo and then retweeted it?
Yes.
And then he deleted it.
But he still had AOC can run a mean pick six. Nobody who knows the least, tiniest little bit about football has ever used that phrase. It doesn't make any sense that she can run a mean pick six. What? What?
Well, JD Vance pushed back and made fun of him at the rally. Hilarious.
Do we have
I saw that, I guess, Governor Tim Walz did a live stream of a Madden football game, professional football game. Obviously not playing; they were playing video games, and he did it with AOC. And I guess the goal is to try to appeal to the young male vote by playing video games online with AOC. And I don't know who came up with that idea, but I guess afterwards, because Tim Walz and Kamala Harris, they always like to talk about Project 2025, and which, by the way, is a complete dishonest disgrace. Project 2025 has nothing to do with the Trump campaign, and it never has. But set that to the side. He was talking about playbooks and trying to connect that to Project 2025, and he said, yesterday, AOC, she did very good. She ran a pick six. She ran a
mean pick six.
I think, you don't run a pick six. You run the West Coast offense or the spread offense. Or the 3-4, the 4-3. It made me realize that I think that even though they say Tim Walz was a college football coach, that I think I know more about football than Tim Walz.
Yep.
And it's appropriate because I think my running mate, Donald J. Trump, knows more about working at McDonald's than Kamala Harris does.
Was it at this rally where he said that, where he asked the question, who do you think the soldiers who stormed Normandy would vote for? Is that the same rally? I love this guy because he's getting sick and tired of the Nazi comparisons. And so he brought up the fact that, are you kidding me? Who do you think those soldiers would have voted for? They'd vote for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris because they would be shocked to know that they were fighting for transgendered surgeries, killing babies at any point for any reason, drag queen shows on military bases. I mean, can you imagine the shock and horror of those people back in the 40s if they would have seen what is happening today? Of course they would have voted for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. They are much more likely to be associated with Nazis than Donald Trump is. Just pathetic. All right, this year's presidential election is about so much more than just politics. It's about securing our borders, protecting our communities, and ensuring that when disasters strike, we have a government that actually shows up for its people. So first and foremost on Election Day, vote, but also on Election Night, you're going to want to be a member of Blaze TV so you can watch many of your favorite Blaze TV hosts as they cover the 2024 presidential election. We're at a crossroads right now, and the future of our nation is being decided in real time. This is your chance to be a part of something amazing. This election night, Blaze TV is going to have boots on the ground across the country with our correspondents delivering the pulse of the night straight from where the action is happening. All you have to do is subscribe, and you can experience this pivotal night with us. At Blaze TV, we speak the truth, no spin, no filters, just real talk, breaking down what's happening in real time. And we'd like to have you with us. Just go to blazeelection.com/Pat and get $40 off your subscription. That's blazeelection.com/Pat for $40 off.
Join the conversation online at Pat Unleashed. Pat Gray will return after this.
Got some tweets here. Sarah the Band tweets, 0 reason to have voting drop boxes unless you're trying to cheat. Even when I lived in the country without a car, I made it out to vote. Leftists need to stop making excuses. That'd be nice. Viral Architect, I'm really getting sick of being constantly harassed to vote early. They're just legitimizing the left's election week, month, mail-in, etc. From Stand Up Chuck, so if 1 million deaths is the Hitler criteria, when does Adolf Fauci get marched to the gallows?
Amen.
Asking for 1 million friends or millions of friends.
Yep.
Mr. Alive and Kicking. Hey, wouldn't people that believe in abortion be more like Hitler? They're responsible for 64 million deaths just in America since 1973. Wow. So it's far more than that in this country, and it's 1.1 billion worldwide. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Let's put up the tweet, full screen one, please. Speaking of that Nazi rally, the Hodgkin twins had a great tweet about this. You see that? Never seen a Nazi rally with Jews, blacks, and Hindus as speakers. Look at that, huh?
It's a good point.
Not just that.
It's a really good point.
The Jews were praying as the night was going. There's pictures of them praying inside the arena with the full stripes, head little thing.
The head little thing?
Yeah, the little box they put in their head.
Uh-huh.
I know that's offensive.
Yes,
but
it probably
were
is.
All of them doing that. Well, most of them were doing that in there. I was like, you can't do that in a Nazi rally.
Right. Also, did you see that the comedian has refused to apologize for his remarks?
Good for him.
Yeah. Comedian Tony Hinchcliffe is not going to apologize. He said, these people have no sense of humor. Wild that a vice presidential candidate would take time out of his busy schedule to analyze a joke taken out of context to make it seem racist. He said, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Now, you didn't take offense to that, did you?
Absolutely not. I called my mom and my dad. They did not get offended. My sisters did.
Oh, they did? Oh. How old are your sisters?
20s.
Okay. They're not 12?
No.
Okay. Did you tell them to get over it?
I did.
Yeah, good. But, I mean, this is Hinchcliffe's job. This is what he does. He does roasts, so he's roasting people.
And AOC, on that clip that he quote tweeted, she goes, I'm so disappointed in him. I was a big fan. I was like, really?
You're a big fan.
You're a big fan.
Then you should know what he does. Oh, my gosh. I mean... There's no understanding the left. It's just impossible. It's impossible. Megyn Kelly was on with Bill Maher over the weekend, and the topic of transitioning kids was discussed. Here's what she had to say about that.
Almost equally important, maybe as important, is what we're doing to our children with this trans insanity. I mean, this is almost my single issue. We are chopping off the healthy body parts of young children without 100%. We are doing that.
Well, we are definitely doing that
without any inquisition.
That's what it is. So
into
I don't know
what's
what
happening.
the oohing is about.
I don't either. Pay attention because I'm about to give you a truth bomb. Kids who are suffering from bullying or who have been sexually assaulted or who are going through normal puberty and feel uncomfortable in their bodies will say to their parents, I'm not sure, maybe I'm gender confused. They will send them into a psychiatrist or psychologist who are told by our organizations, the American Psychiatry Association, and all the others that run their licensing, you must affirm. Affirm is the only standard. And so the child gets told, you're right, you are secretly a boy, or vice versa. And the child gets put on puberty blockers, into cross-sex hormones, which sterilize a child and deprive the child of any chance of sexual pleasure for the rest of his or her life. We're talking about 9, 10, 11-year-olds who cannot give informed consent. Then they have body parts chopped off by a medical establishment and by parents who mean well but believe in these doctors, and they shouldn't. And when they inevitably get past the awkwardness of puberty or what have you, and they want to turn around and detransition, those who love bomb them on Reddit saying, come on in, the water's fine, abandon them. They are depressed. They have changed their bodies forever in a way that is irreversible. And we are all sitting back saying, it's a remote issue, as Kamala Harris said. It's not remote. It's the issue of our time, both with respect to children and women's rights.
Well, let's back up a little on that.
Wow. So he challenged her on that? Do you know where he went with that? No? Okay. Interesting, though. He let her have her say. And I think years ago he would have been interrupting her every other word. But Bill Maher has realized that the left has gone so far out in left field that he can't go there with them.
Right. Remember, Dennis Prager, I believe it was, right? Was on his show probably, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes.
Where he was talking about tampons.
In boys' bathrooms, right?
And Bill Maher was like, come on,
that's ridiculous.
Now you've got a vice presidential contender who, A, has done that to high school to schools in his state.
Right.
Who is now the Democrat nominee for vice president, but and that's what he's famous for. Jeez. Tampon Tim.
All right, let me tell you about real estate agents I trust. Anytime in life that you have to make a big change, it's really hard. And that's especially true when you're planning to buy or sell a home because, that's really complicated. It's a lot of money, and there's a lot at stake here. And so you need a really great realtor to get you through that process, to give you good suggestions, give you good information about what you should do to your home and what you won't get the money out of doing to your home. Saved us a whole bunch of money, and then in the long run, made us a lot of money. So a great realtor can make all the difference in the world. This is a free service we provide to you. It's realestateagentsitrust.com. We set you up with the best realtor in your market. Realestateagentsitrust.com. The name says it all. Realestateagentsitrust.com.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Coming up on Friday, the Boston cream pie cookie is back. And this time, it's still delicious.
Yes. So
I think it's our second best selling special cookie that we bring out just a few times a year, right after the coffee cake. Then we got the Boston
that was your first time
pie.
dropping that, right?
Yeah.
The coffee cake?
Yeah.
Yes, so good.
So the Boston cream pie back on Friday.
Yes.
And then we have it's a sweet potato pie cookie packed with pecans, topped with our homemade caramel sauce. Oh, my gosh.
Pat, what are you doing?
Oh, so good. So you can get that at Keksi.com, K-E-K-S-I.com.
On Friday, though, right?
Yeah, you got to wait till after Halloween.
Friday. Yeah. All right, we got Eve in Pennsylvania on the line. Hey, Eve, welcome to the Blaze. Hey.
Hey, Pat.
Yes.
Peace, everyone. How are you this morning?
We're good. You?
Terrible.
Are you really concerned, or are you just making small talk?
Feels like small talk, doesn't it?
It does.
Pat,
It feels
you
like
really
it.
don't give a crap, do you? Just don't
Not
even
really.
ask.
No.
Shut up.
Anyway.
I'm a long-time listener, but I'll tell you, your man Keith is dead on a lot of this election stuff. And I have done a lot of research on this. I don't know if Keith wants to preface this at all. I want to be careful what I say.
Yeah. No, I told Pat, I've talked to you several times on my podcast about voter fraud, and I told him that you have a ton of information on this, so don't disappoint me.
Okay, I won't. The big takeaway on all this illegal stuff is you have to understand that any registration, whether they're illegal, whether they're fake, whether they're dead, is data, right? And they need to dump this data into the system. Like you saw here in Pennsylvania, Scott Pressler has been amplifying the fact that somebody dumped 2,500 questionable registrations in, was it Lancaster County? And then they were dumped in on the last day of registrations. They were all dated in June. And then he said there was something same happened in Luzerne County. Now there's another county that has something similar happen. They think they may have identified the person. But all that being said, what's important for them is they need these quote, individuals, these voters on the rolls, whether they're real or not. So what you have like in Virginia is literally, they can't lose the numbers. And the thing that really, really bothers me, having listened to the woman in Iowa, is knowing you got these illegals coming in whatever they have as far as ID goes, and we know in Arizona, you can have a student ID that qualifies. But for the first time in a federal election, I sat through a voter election volunteer training session this spring. And for the first time in federal elections ever, if your precincts have e-poll books, you can walk in, you can present an ID. And if you don't have an ID, they there's multiple ways you can do it. But if you don't have an ID and you insist that you're able to vote for whatever reason, they will give you a provisional ballot. For the first time in a federal election, they will register you on that e-poll book. Not register you on the voter roll, but they will register that you came in, that they handed you a provisional ballot. The thing that is really bothersome about that is those e-poll books, then, that data gets transferred back and forth between the overarching management system of those e-poll books. And then, remember, what makes data the most dangerous is its accessibility one way or the other, right? If it's secure, it's a good thing. If it's accessible, it's a problem. We know these e-poll books. We know the entire system are accessible. Now, here comes the quiz. I know, Keith, you know the answer. Pat, do you know where the greatest accessibility to all of this data at 24/7 during all of our elections, do you know where that accessibility comes from?
It's not connected to the internet, so it's not accessible anywhere. That's what I was told.
Keith, the blasphemy out of your mouth.
I was told by my government and by multiple voices of reason that our elections are not connected to the internet.
Right, because that would lead to tampering and hacking, right?
Now, Keith and Pat, that means you have to have, complete, full confidence and trust in your government.
We do.
Do you not? Well, you don't, Eve? That's amazing. Wow.
Eve, hang on a second. Are you telling me that there are direct quotes from government officials that counter that apparently we are being monitored in real time when we go to vote?
And there are, actually. There's this book. I saw the name of this book up there. Everybody forgot to check this book out.
There you go. Countdown to Chaos, Silent Federalizing of Elections.
Yes, and it's cited with over, I think we've got over 500 citations in this book. This is not stuff being made up. This is stuff that comes from, congressional testimony, from minutes, from, the manuals of the systems. The e-poll books, for example, they're all connected. Are you kidding me? It's ridiculous. The thing is, where are they connected to?
Right.
They're connected to the voter registration. They're connected to their systems, their secretaries of state, and so on. Those systems are connected. You've heard about this, the Albert monitoring system. There's been a lot of, people biting around the edges about that. But what we discovered, the Albert monitoring system as a system is an off-the-shelf hardware system. It was very, very difficult to discover what runs that system. And we know with 100% fact-based through government contracts, the Albert monitoring system is CrowdStrike Falcon. Now, you need to understand that, again, data that's accessible is manipulatable. It doesn't have to be, but when you can access data, you have a great responsibility in that data. So, Pat, do you know who has access to this data 24/7 in these elections?
Nobody.
I do not.
All the federal agencies, beginning with the DHS, FBI.
Yeah. So are you? I have two questions for you then, real quick. Are you pleased that they canceled the Atlanta cyber security event?
I have mixed feelings about it. Okay. Yes, I would say I'm pleased about that because it was a very strange event to have in that location at that time. Now you have to understand that frees a lot of those guys up. The thing is to have them there in that location.
I know.
That there is the nodes they send this information through are these fusion centers, which in the book is a fascinating. I read that chapter over and over myself because I can't believe it. But my concern was there's a fusion center in Atlanta itself. The FBI and the GBI, which is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, are some of the main people that man that particular fusion center. Can be other, other local officials, other state officials. Did I ever mention this to you, Kate? You have to understand this Albert monitoring system, this CrowdStrike Falcon system. This is considered classified information. Like, you can't, if you're a Secretary of State and you want to go learn about the system you're operating, they've taken these people to Washington and they have to go through a classified briefing and so on and so forth. Why, if our states and our localities are supposed to be running our elections and in charge of our elections?
Yeah, why is the federal government connected? Yeah, so how confident are you? How confident are you in next Tuesday, Eve?
I'm the only confidence I have is in the anecdotal evidence of the abject numbers that are supposed to be coming out. I am telling you, there are the Black American population could save this country.
Yeah.
They literally
Let's
could.
hope they do. Right. Let's hope they do. And if people want to hear more about this, you have a book, right? What is that called?
It is Countdown to Chaos, the Silent Federalizing of Elections with Javon Pulitzer and myself.
And where can I get that?
Amazon.
Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon.
It is thick, and it has got so much information.
Is it available digitally? Can I just download it in 5 minutes? 5 seconds?
How fast is your Wi-Fi
but
connection?
Hey, listen, I'll trade you if I can get your the digital version of your game that you play. So I'll trade you the digital version of the Pat Gray.
Oh, all right. So I'll send it to you psychically.
So more on trivia.
And I just did. So all right.
So okay,
Good. Thanks,
ready
Eve.
for
That's
my
a good
download,
trade-off.
Pat. Ready? I'm gonna download the book to you right now. Ready?
You get it?
I'm ready.
Okay.
All right.
I just sent it. You got it?
I got it. Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks, Eve. That's a lot to think about
It
and
is
chew on.
so
Oh my gosh,
much
it's frightening.
Information.
It's frightening
and
disheartening.
It is. And one of the things that she really talks about is that time window. That's the problem with early voting.
Yeah.
Because the longer we have to vote,
The more they can screw things up.
the longer it's connected to these terrible actors.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah. All right. Let me tell you about Beam Organics. Let's dive into sleep. It's a pillar of our mental and physical health. If you're like me, you've probably experienced nights where you just, no matter what you do, you can't fall asleep. Or sometimes you can't stay asleep. It's a challenge. Poor sleep can wreck your energy, your focus, and your mood. It can impact everything you do, your work, your relationships, whatever. It's even if you've tried tons of different solutions and you wake up groggy or it doesn't help, check this out. Beam's Dream Powder. It's a science-backed, really delicious, healthy hot cocoa for sleep. Dream Powder has been a total game changer. It's loaded with natural, effective ingredients like reishi, magnesium, also melatonin. I mean, it really works. And it works together so that you can sleep deeply and wake up refreshed. Plus, the flavors are incredible. Sea salt caramel, brownie batter, and my go-to, the original cinnamon cocoa. All with only 15 calories and 0 sugar. Just in time for the holidays, Beam's special flavors, white chocolate, peppermint, and gingerbread are a festive addition to your nighttime routine. Right now, Beam's giving my listeners early access to their Cyber Monday sale. Visit shopbeam.com/Pat. Use the promo code PAT, and you'll get up to 50% off. 50% off. That's ShopBeam, BEAM, shopbeam.com/Pat. Use the promo code PAT and get 50% off.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Did you see Mika Brzezinski with the Coven on The View yesterday?
Oh, no.
She's
my
terrific.
goodness. Did the earth open up and swallow the studio?
I wish! It should. But here's what she had to say. Nobody gets a pass trashing America, Puerto Rican Americans. Nobody gets a pass degrading people. Oh, really? Okay. But you can trash and degrade Trump all you want, and his followers, and his supporters. Nobody gets a pass degrading legal migrants. When has he ever done that? And terrorizing people. Nobody gets a pass threatening his enemies with using the military against them. Nobody gets a pass on inciting an insurrection. She did not do. Nobody gets a pass saying he fancies Hitler and wants to have his generals like his. No. Nobody gets a pass on insulting veterans and saying those who died for our country are suckers and losers except for convicted felon Donald Trump. They're under no obligation, apparently, to back up anything they say about Donald Trump. So they're free to repeat the most egregious, ridiculous lies ever said about him because someone supposedly said it. So if somebody said it, they're free to repeat it over and over and over again. Even when it's a proven lie, they repeat it over and over again anyway. They just don't care about facts or evidence or proof of any kind. And they continue to do this and seemingly get away with it. Don't let them. Make sure you get out and vote and get your friends out to vote. If he wins by so much that they find it impossible to overturn this election in her favor, that's the only way that we escape this fate of this communist being elected with her communist sympathizer at her side. Between Harris and Walz, this is the worst duo that has ever been this close to the White House. I thought Obama was bad. I thought Biden was bad, and they were. Yeah. But these people are beyond anything I could have ever imagined for this country. They can do and say and get away with absolutely anything. They can make things up about Trump. They don't have to back it up at all with a single fact. They just say it, and so it's out there. It's like, who was it that said that about the Romney lie? It was Harry Reid. That's right. It was Harry Reid. Well, I said it. Now it's out there.
Yep. Now he's got
it. Okay. So you lied, and so it's just out there, and now it's fine. I mean, they've gone way beyond that. They don't even explain it that much. If anything's proven, and that was proven inaccurate and to be a lie, but now they don't even address the fact that it is a lie. They just keep saying it while people around them are saying, no, that's a lie. No, it's not. I am not here. I am not here.
Well, I'm sure we'll get all sorts of good information about Kamala Harris when she sits down with Joe Rogan for a 3-hour conversation like Donald Trump did, right?
Except, no.
We have an update on that, right, Chris?
What's our update?
The update is that Joe Rogan.
Here's the quote. You have it in front of you?
I don't.
Okay, so Rogan is talking about the Kamala Harris campaign. He says they offered a date for Tuesday, so today.
Oh.
But I would have to travel to her, and they only wanted to do an hour. I strongly feel the best way to do this is in the studio in Austin. And so he hasn't. He says that her campaign has not passed on doing the podcast. They're just trying to agree on terms. I mean, the terms are pretty clear. Come to Austin for 3 hours. There's your terms.
It's that simple.
Well, and I heard that there's a lot of conditions, too, the things that he can't ask about.
Oh, geez.
So.
No. He says, I want to get to know her. Let's see, what did he say? My sincere wish is to just have a nice conversation and get to know her as a human being. Well, I mean,
she's not a human being.
I was about to say, I mean, your premise is wrong, Joe.
Very wrong, but okay.
I really hope we can make it happen. So, anyway, obviously she's...
An hour would be interesting. Even if she does an hour. I mean, that she can't handle that.
But
she certainly can't do 3.
No, has he ever done a show
no, he's
out
never
of
done.
his studio? No, you come to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on. And she was just in Texas.
Yeah. She was.
Well, Texas is humongous.
I got it. Don't dwell
she
on
was
this
in
one.
Houston. He lives in Austin. It's
Austin's 2.5 hours.
Oh.
So it's like from Houston.
How about by plane? Half an hour?
Yeah, maybe.
45 minutes?
Maybe half an hour.
There.
Yeah. Takes longer to taxi down the runway than it does to fly there, probably. Yeah. But my guess is they're just not quite going to be able to work it out.
I don't think they're going to be able to.
That's my guess.
Yes.
She can't
She's
do
busy.
that. She's incapable of doing that. Because It's got to be a super friendly interview. It's got to be a place where she's not going to be held accountable for anything she ever says.
And honestly, she doesn't need the 3 hours. She doesn't need an hour. She honestly needs about 60 seconds because all of her answers are going to be
the same.
I was raised a middle-class kid and Donald Trump is evil.
Right.
I guess I'm done now, right, Joe? We're done?
And I'm all about the possibilities of what can be unburdened by what has been. I mean, we know what she's going to say anyway, so
I have a question for you guys. She was touring a semiconductor plant, and this was her interaction at the plant.
Here is actually a harvested U-rod where we actually do grow it. So this is what it looks like when it comes out of our process of that. Do not touch it.
Do not. I'm glad
So please do not touch any of the powder.
And I won't touch
Very
that.
sharp. Very sharp. Yeah, very sharp.
Okay,
So with that being said.
Oh, that would have been funny. If very sharp. She pulls back a nub or something. Sorry.
And then she tried to do a speech at the same location, and she literally...
At the plant?
At the plant.
Oh.
She forgot what she just saw.
Oh, okay.
Together with the work that you were doing here, what is it, polysilicon? Silicon, I'm sorry. That wasn't right. Right?
And where was this?
I don't know where it was. I know it was a semiconductor plant in one of her trips. Somewhere.
A semiconductor plant somewhere in America.
In America.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. All right. We also have this Maha Alliance ad, the Make America Healthy Again Alliance.
Okay.
And here's an ad that seems to oppose Kamala.
Dear Kamala Harris, let's get one thing crystal clear. The vast majority of American men have no issue with electing a female president. Our issue lies solely with you. You were second in charge of California for 13 years.
As California's Attorney General, Harris promoted enforcement of a law that allowed prosecutors to seek jail time for parents of truant kids.
As a prosecutor in law enforcement, I have a huge stick. So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
I thought that was crazy.
Wow.
I was like, how can you lock parents up?
If you don't go to school, Kamala's going to put you and me in jail. Yes, we achieved intended effect.
I opened the door and I see at least 7 or 8 cops wanted to arrest me. As a matter of fact, they did.
And frankly, you know the prosecutors in my office who volunteered to do this? My homicide prosecutors, my gang prosecutors. And they went over there and I said, when you go over there, look really mean.
She had me arrested and prosecuted because my handicapped daughter was sick in the hospital and had missed some days of school.
I learned that with the swipe of my pen, I could charge someone with the lowest level offense. That person could be arrested. They could lose time from work and their family maybe lose their job. They'd have to come out of their own pocket to help hire a lawyer. They'd lose standing in their community.
I lost my job and couldn't pay rent.
Good.
And we got evicted.
Weeks later, I could dismiss the charges, but their life would forever be changed.
I became homeless. We had to move into a motel.
All because of the swipe of my pen.
I don't agree what Kamala Harris did to my mom. And I don't agree with what she's done to other parents as well.
You were second in charge of the United States for 4 years.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Inflation is hitting the highest level in 39 years. A record high number of illegal crossings.
Crime's been surging across the nation.
Huge spikes in homicides.
Could we be heading toward World War III? After 17 years of failed leadership, you are now asking us to trust you as first in charge of our country.
I am concerned and focused on big issues. Elementary and middle school truancy is actually a big issue if we're trying to save the state money.
Because of truancy, California public schools lose $1.4 billion a year in funding.
I want money.
My message to all Americans, do not trust Kamala Harris.
As men and protectors of women and children, you are simply a risk we are not willing to take.
Paid for by Maha Alliance and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
I haven't seen most of those clips. Had you before this?
No.
That's amazing.
No.
Wow, her time as Attorney General was terrifying.
And this is the kind of thing when like we had the black preacher alluding to this, we've had others alluding in the black community.
Judge Brown talked about this.
They've been on top of the kind of stuff she's been laying down.
Wow, that's stunning. That is something else. Trump should be getting in on that action. That's some powerful stuff. You're locking up parents of kids who've been truant.
And that's Maha.
And you're proud of it. She loved it. All right. See you on Overtime, and then back here tomorrow.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.